You got me in my feelings. You got me in my feelings.
Mr. Tom Kling. He's my grade school teacher. The reason why I decided to have him on the show is because so many times that we're affected by people that change our lives and in a major way. And we go back and we go back in time and we look at it, and then we really don't give them their flowers. We don't give them their praise, and unfortunately till something maybe happens to them. But I just wanted to take this time out to do, this is one of my dreams, to talk to and to show Mr. Kling my appreciation for him changing my life as a child, as a kid growing up on the west side of Chicago. Basically what it was is that we were enrolled in a class, made a composition of students for grades 6th through 8th grade. And so that was something different in the Chicago public school system that I don't think it was ever done before. And Mr. Kling, he was one of the pilots of that program. And so basically what happened is that he would drive from Evanston to the west side of Chicago, where there's always problems in our neighborhood, every day, and to teach us. And as we got older, we realized how much we appreciated him. And because of what he taught us college courses. He took his own money out of his family household to buy us college books. He really sacrificed for us. There was times when he would stay overnight and got a couple my classmates out of jail. I mean, on more than one occasion, maybe 3-4 occasions. He would come in on Monday. He would be bewildered by all of those things, but he kept striving. He kept teaching. You come from Evanston, Chicago, a really affluent neighborhood at that time. So why did you decide to come and teach, kids, impoverished kids, problem kids, and what made you decide to teach us?
I was prepared for a question like that today. But now that it's been posed, I was born in the United States, and I'll die here. And not just over the last couple of years, but throughout, frankly, my entire life, I've seen too much. I've seen too much disparity. I've seen too much agony, too much discrimination. When I was a child, people would tell me, you think too much, you're always thinking, you overthink everything. Well, I did, I guess, but one thing I think I didn't overthink was what I saw, how I was blessed with stuff that I never earned, that white privilege gave me in abundance. And I would look around At times, even when I was very small, I know when I was very small, I don't think it was much different. I would just see like the terrible disparities in this country. My mother had extreme rheumatoid arthritis as a younger woman, and every summer she would enjoy going to Florida, and she and my sister would fly, and my dad and I would drive before the interstate system. And we would go down Route 41 along the Illinois-Indiana border through Kentucky and Tennessee and Georgia. And the country I saluted in school was not the country I saw. And it is not the country I see today. When I came to Frederick Douglass in the early fall of 1985 to be with Demetrius and Elroy and all the other incredible students I had in my charge, I came because I had to have a job. I had a family to support, a relatively young wife and a son who was exactly the age of my students that I was teaching those 3 years at Frederick Douglass. But I came with other things, not just a need to put food on the table. I came with a social conscience that developed in me when I was way young. And I tell people today that of all the classes I had in 33 years in the Chicago schools, none approximated theirs. The kindness, the sensitivity, the sense that they understood that, yeah, I wanted to do my best to reach my own standards and to reach those of those whom I taught and their families and the community. That when things get difficult in my life, I focus on entities within my life that have changed me, that have loved me, that have given to me perhaps more than I have given to them.
Mr. Clean, in the midst of the ghetto on the corner of Waller stands a school of mystery and deception, because no one with a choice would choose to teach. Yet, here at Douglass, we stewards acknowledge a fine grand teacher. He comes to us wholeheartedly to give to us the knowledge he taught us to seek. Our future, once dim, now sparkles bright. We dream big, we aim high. We seek knowledge because we know it's the key. Everything that's on this page right here, in these words, is in my heart, and it got from that man, Mr. Clean. We love you.
Demetrius and his mom co-authored. And one of the poems, one of the short stories, one of the poems is about me, of all people, entitled Mr. Clean. It ends with the words, "We thank you for being you." Words that I have used countless times ever since I saw them in this paperback. And the school superintendent of Chicago, Ruth Love, I'm not sure, declared, "We're going to show the world we're not so bad." And she sent a bulletin out to all principals. "Give me the name of one of your teachers in the class he represents. Let's put him before the public, and let's bring in ABC News and cameras and reporters. And let's write about them." Michelle Norris, who now still works for, I believe it's MSNBC. I saw her the other night out of DC. She would attend our class, just observe, ask questions of the students and me, perhaps some parents from time to time.
To reiterate that this is my part of my lifelong dream, is to come back and just show honor and show appreciation to the teachers that led me to help me to be who I am today. Right now we're gonna head over to my elementary school, the school that Mr. Clean taught at, and then we're supposed to be meeting up with one of our other students there, Eric Stovall. And so he's gonna kind of talk about his experience that he's done with that he's had with Mr. Clean as well. But we're also just gonna look at the city and just kind of see how the city is different from, there's two Chicagos and there's two Americas, you know what I'm saying? So every state, every city, there's two sides, and and that's just what it is, and that's just real. But just sit back and enjoy. We're gonna go on the city to take a tour.
The building is separated in 4 distinct sections, and we was in house B, 212. On the other side of the building, which we were separated from everybody else. And it was an experience out this world, because I never knew that one guy could catch so much for 32 kids, that whole time, man.
Like our father.
Yeah, he was, because I definitely did. I had a stepdad at home, but he was in and out. And it was a rough situation for a lot of us kids growing up on the west side of Chicago in 1984, 85.
It was hard on him. It was hard on him. I knew it was hard on him, because it was almost to the point where it's just like, man, you keep beating this man. He's getting into it from the administrative staff, from the principal. The principal would kind of talk to him about the books that he give us.
Yes. He got 5 ones, didn't he?
Yeah.
And we protested in the hallway.
He got taught us at advanced levels. Whereas like in a lot of high school, it's like, did you learn much in high school? Because we knew it all.
Man, I was a freshman tutoring seniors in algebra 1 and 2, because we did all this in 6th grade.
Did not follow the public school education system.
No,
That's
not.
why we were so far ahead, when we went to high school. And it gave he went the sports route, where it gave me opportunity, idle time to go a different route. You know what I'm saying? And kind of became susceptible to a lot of the desires that was in the streets during those times.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Even though we was at school.
Every Friday after lunch. Now, granted, this school, the regular houses didn't have doors when we was in class. So we heard everything from every other class and everywhere. But every Friday, Mr. Clean would come out his pocket before he got to school, buy 4 or 5 cases of pop, 6 or 7 dozens of Dunkin' Donuts. He would go to the library, get the record player, and Friday about 11:30, 12 o'clock, that was our time.
Of how much love and admiration that we showed him.
Yeah.
At the same time, we just dealt with the teachers that cared. You know what I'm saying? So, and it carries on. You know what I'm saying? He had relationships with our parents.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, he was just there. But it was hard on him.
I know it was.
So by the time we graduated 8th grade, he just kind of like, been trying.
Greatly appreciative.
Yeah.
And I think about Mr. Clean all the time. I think throughout my life, I've spoken on him more than any other time in my life, because just the impact, the education as young Black people in this community, he gave us something that no other teacher, no other school, and I can say this honestly, no other Black teacher I ever had in my life even stepped that far to give us that history and knowledge and self-worth of ourselves.
Let me start off with Demetrius, if I may. I have one vision of him right now. I'm at the front of the class doing, yes, a challenging job, and he is at the back. Last seat, maybe the middle row. And I day after day realized how he trained his eyes on me, listened to what I said, and responded with a seriousness and a sensitivity, which told me that he knew that I knew the job was difficult, that it was challenging, that we were living in conflicted times. He understood that, and he understood that what I was doing mattered. And he was such a good student. I'll never forget you. There was an innocence about that class that you knew what you confronted outside the classroom door. You knew about the horrors that could be out there, but you had sweetness in you. You, all of you, countless others. A sweetness that superimposed itself upon the realities of the United States of 1985, 6, 7, 8. And as I told earlier, when I am up against the wall and I feel like, no, this is not, living here in this country is no longer doable for me after what I've seen over the last months, what do I think about first? First, invariably, you and the others that contributed to what you contributed to, making me feel wanted, smart, valuable. What book are we going to get next, Mr. Kling? I remember it. Yeah, I used to take money out of, and they'd arrive at my home in Evanston. And I'd be excited, I'd look, I'd open up the box, and there were like 35 copies.
6th to 8th grade, we were the nerd class. We were the class that was in the newspaper. We were the class that went on Speller Bee championships and, math competitions, or you name any type of competition, Mr. Kling had us there. And we were that class that everyone called us the nerds. And I actually, the first year, I did not want to go to that class because everyone knew this is the nerd class. And the nerds had to fight every day. And we had class fights. And we had everyone in the school targeted our class. We had to fight every day. And so we became fighting nerds, after that first year. But that was the story. And but the classes and the way he taught me, we were so far ahead of everyone, and we were so advanced. And so being in the environment that we were in Chicago, we went to high school, and I didn't want to let Mr. Kling down and want to let my parents down. But in high school, I had more freedom. And so I never told you this story, but in high school, in almost day one, the first week I was there was just like everything that we reviewed, I knew. Can I share a story with you? This is my personal journey. My personal journey was that I remember, going into being in your classroom from 6th to 8th grade, and it was high school time. And nobody wanted to go to Austin High School. That was the community high school in the neighborhood. Nobody wanted to go there because we already knew that it was where everyone goes there. It's just almost like a black hole. No one finished. There was no books. They didn't have homework. They wasn't allowed to take books home. It was just a horrible school. Shootings every day. But it was our neighborhood. It was a neighborhood school. And so, it was time for us to get into high school. And so that high schools were at a lottery at that time, where we get placed into a lottery or something, and you just so happen to go to a school outside of the neighborhood. Schools outside of the neighborhoods were better. more funding, more education, so-called supposedly more better teachers, but in a safer environment. And so during that process, Mr. Clean talked to my mom. He's like, your son, Demetrius, he's very, very intelligent, and he needs to go to the proper school, because if he doesn't, he's going to get sucked in by the environment. And if he can't get into a proper school that I select for him, I would like him to come to move with me and go to school with my son, Daniel, in North Chicago. And I'll never forget that day, because it was a really big decision we had to make, because I really didn't want to leave, but he believed in me so much, and he had that faith in me. And so, but everything prevailed, God prevailed, and I was accepted into Taft. What happened is that in high school was a blur to me. I really didn't pick up much, and I did get in trouble, and I did end up transferring out of school and transferring and moving out of the city. And everything that I've learned is mostly from there before I went to college, and that's why I'm so grateful, because things could have went the other way. It could have went the other route, you know, and. I couldn't have wrote a book with my mom. I couldn't have graduated from college with an accounting degree, you know, so I couldn't have been doing some of the things I'm doing now, entrepreneurialism and running my own company for like going on 15 years, you know, and based off of math, which he made sure I understood, you know, and I would tell him, sometime I would just agree and just say, yeah, I get it, because he just would not let up. He's like, no, you really get it? And he breaks it down again, because he knew I didn't get it, but he just would not let up with me.
Hi, my name is Makita K. Matthews, and I am from Chicago, Illinois. I'm just super excited to be here. I heard about this great, amazing educator, who taught for 33 years, Mr. Clean, you are the man. And so I too am a public educator. I've been an educator for 16 sweet years, and I'm grateful to God for the opportunity to teach. And so when I was invited to come and hear about you, I got extremely excited, because not only am I an educator, I just completed my third master's, believe it or not, but my third master's, but this one is in education administration. I finished in 2020, and so I will be pursuing my administrative degree, God willing, this next coming school year. So from one public school educator to another, I'm just grateful to be in this place. I'm grateful to be in your space. I'm just grateful to hear all of the amazing stories. And then
I think the biggest challenge was the number of kids I had in each of my classes. You know, it was like, come on, you gotta be kidding, you know, like, 36, 37 students, and you're trying to individualize instruction and, give everyone in the class a proper milieu, individualized the learning. Come on, you gotta be kidding. That overwhelmed me. Too many kids. 20, 25, maybe 25, yeah. I could have done but at 35 or more, man, that was probably my biggest gripe through the years, What was it like teaching? Okay, it was not my first choice. I had enrolled at DePaul Law School when we found out Daniel was coming. And I decided that I was not going to be like my dad. My dad worked in his own business for many years, 90, 100 hours a week. I was going to not fall into that. So when I found Dan, my wife and I found Dan was coming, I withdrew from law school. I was able to get a job pretty easily in the Chicago schools. It wasn't my first choice, that's for sure. But you know what? It was okay. It was all right. You know, I mean, I had a social agenda that was just in its incipient stage at that point. I thought it was important to pass on knowledge to people who would need it more than I did. My desire was, you know, I came out of white privilege. I was burdened by it at the age of 23 when I started teaching in the public schools. I wanted to open up a storefront law office in an area that needed one, and I would provide as much pro bono service as possible. I know it's easy to say that, but that was what I wanted to do, okay? Didn't happen. So when I got into the school system, I mean, you know, there were needs there too that were unmet for people who needed relief. And actually, I mean, it all kind of came together. I was off summers. I could spend time with my son after school. It wasn't like with my dad, working until 7 or 8 at night, 12 months a year, you know? So, I mean, gradually I began to realize, hey, you know what? I was put in here for a reason. You know, if I could serve my students fairly well and have a lifestyle that served my family at least fairly well, smaller class size. Okay. Longer day, 4-day week. I think every employee in this country needs more time with his family in these tumultuous times. 4-day week, longer day, less students. I used to get to school at like 6:15 every morning and fine-tune my lessons for 2.5 hours until the kids came. I graded papers after school and I did 8 hours of lesson plans every weekend. I put in 80-hour weeks. More time in school to do what normally would be done outside of school. More time to maintain sanity among the staffs, right? 4, more interesting curriculum. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's like today, but when I was come on, man. You know, the stuff, I mean, oh yeah, it was not just the old books and the old materials and the same old stories. More interesting material to stimulate the kids. They gotta be stimulated. You gotta be stimulated, you know? More stimulating materials, absolutely. And that means redistribution of wealth and more money into the school system.
So can I say at this moment, like you have me jumping in my seat, and let me tell you why. The very first school I taught at was O.T. Bright Elementary School, far south side. During that time of teaching at the school, it was actually the time when Hurricane Katrina hit. And so at this point, our classroom size was 40 to 45. And this particular classroom that I was in, it was 2 teachers. However, not only did we have to teach the kids in a small classroom, in a crowded classroom, necessarily didn't have all the materials, right? Yeah. And then we had to go to lunch with them and a lot of things we had to do. So when you said class size, I was like, yeah, that's a key factor in CPS. And perhaps over the time, we hope that that will change because we know that having a smaller population and being able to cater to them, you're really able to individualize and differentiate instruction like they want us to, right? But those were key, and I really appreciate this conversation at this moment because you're right in the vein, right? So in lieu of the pandemic, it has really caused education to shift. It has caused for teachers to go home. It's caused for students to go home, right? And so now we're e-learning, but we're back in the building. So guess what's going on that we're back in the building? We have smaller class sizes. Guess what else is going on now that we're back in the building? We have 4-day class week. We're just hoping that they will stay in that, everybody will stay in that vein, you know, next school year. Yeah. And then when you say a better curriculum, better resources, better books.
That's why I led off every year with Black Boy. unless I had a 3-year class, right? It was so interesting, right? If you gotta be reading, I was never a reader. I didn't care about reading at all until I became a teacher. Then I thought I better care about it, right? Black Boy by Richard Wright. Man, right? 350 pages is mesmerizing. It's freaking mesmerizing, right? It's gotta be interesting. I'm sorry, especially with all the competition, video games, all the TV channels. I remember when Marcus Irons called me from, frankly, Champaign County Jail because of a problem he had down there. And he was stuck down there for a while, and we would talk every week. And he said, Mr. Kling, you know what I got under my bed? In big rubber bands? I got every book we read in 212, and I still read them. I reread them. Then I had to leave Douglas because my son was starting Evanston High School, and my wife was working at County Hospital like 6 in the morning. I know this is irrelevant at the moment, but nonetheless, I decided I have to be home when he goes to high school. So I left Douglas, not happily. I left Douglas. I went to Gale Community Academy on Howard Street, and she was cool. She was good with it all, with all my books and stuff. But then the momentous event, they went on a 12-month cycle, right? They were one of the schools that went on 12 months, and I got 3 months off. I got off March, July, and October, and my kid was still in high school, and I wanted to be home with him summers. So I left Gale, and I came to the school where my wife still is. And the principal there, and I was bringing in books that I used at Frederick Douglass, right? Kaffir Boy, Kaffir in Afrikaans means Nigger. It's all about growing up in apartheid South Africa, yeah? He said, we can't have this, not in this school. I had a predominance of black kids in my class there, right? But he said, no, this isn't gonna go. This isn't gonna go. I began to use poetry that was relevant by Tupac, right? His book, The Rose That Grew from Concrete, you've heard of it, you've read it. Come on, well, how much more beautiful can you get, right? Well, I was using that in my classroom, and other teachers reported me, and I almost lost my job. It was crazy, it was nuts, right? I got pushback, yeah, from one principal, whatever. But it was worth it, I stopped bringing in the books. I switched to more how should I say, more delicate topics.
Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your heart. And thank you for the seeds that you sown decades ago in education that was necessary then and is so much necessary now. So even for myself as an educator and a future administrator, I will make sure that I continue to teach with vigor, with fervor, with passion, and that I will teach those hard topics that no one wants to talk about, that everybody needs to know about.
Sweet words dancing in my mouth, but I can't get them out.
But one of our greatest, I think, discussions in class was about reparations, how we were thinking about that as young kids, 6th and 7th and 8th grade, talking about reparations. Do you believe it? And now, in the city that you live in.
Yes. I'm so proud. When I heard that Evanston, Illinois City Council had passed a limited reparations bill about 6 weeks ago, maybe longer ago than that, I cried. As you can see, it's not hard for me to do that, right? I cried. I was so proud. I was so proud. A social issue that I was somewhat directly related to. I mean, I live in Evanston. I pay taxes there. If I buy marijuana in Evanston, part of the marijuana tax goes to the freaking reparations. It's all good, right? All good. It's all good, man.
I'm a mental health counselor right now at Amita Health. When I got to Douglas, I paid attention to you because you were different. you introduced debating, different books that you purchased because Ray Bradbury books, Black Boy, Kafer Boy, a host of books.
A Raisin in the Sun.
A Raisin in the Sun. Oh man, I can't. And those type of stories shaped us, made us young adults at that time because we were able to, the decisions that we were able to make.
You talk about a compelling book, right? For anyone, for any age. I can remember one part of it where he spoke of Memphis and how the black people of Memphis would make a big deal about getting shortchanged 2 pennies in a store. But when it came to severe racial injustice, they were so inured to it that they didn't make any big deal about it because they knew it wouldn't get them anywhere, right? If I had a better hip, less anxiety, more youth, man oh man, kid or no kid at home, wife or no wife at home who wanted to be home as much as possible, I'd do a better job than I did with you. What would I have done differently? I would have preached and made you sick of hearing something that I did say at at Douglas School a few times, to you actually. You'll be judged by how you write. I don't care about all this other stuff. I don't care about the money, the cars. You'll be judged by how you write and how you speak. I would obsess over that to the point where you might not be so glad to see me the next day. I would obsess over what you're going to be judged by, whether you like it or not, in this generally rotten society. That's what I would do differently. That's what I do differently. It would be the language component. The language component. Speak as well as you can. Don't end sentences with prepositions. I think I did bring that up a few times. Do not bring prepositional phrases to the ends of sentences, please. Dependent clauses begin sentences. And if you don't believe that they should, going back now 35 years, I will tell you, you will be judged by how you speak and how you write. By a very, very critical, dominant component of your society. An unrelenting component who doesn't trust your ability, who doesn't want you to have ability, who doesn't want you to be competent. That's what I would do differently. I asked myself, what did I do? I mean, I could have done it better. In my next life, I'll come back and you'll be in my class again. And I might be single and I might be even more enraged by what I see around me in my culture. And I'd be a mother in class with so much love, more love than I had back in 85, 86, 80. I would just be relentless. Wow. Because I see the result. This harsh society that demands a lot of me, but more from you. Just for you to keep up with me, you got to do it even better than me. It's such a burden. It's great to get off, let off, privilege that I didn't earn at all, no earning of this. And then I look around me and you ask me how I got it up to get to school every day and why. This is it. The burden of being white in a terribly white-dominated society. That's it. Nothing else needs to be said by me. That's it. That did it. That's done it. And then the other problem was coming into class every day and you pretty much accepting me after a while, valuing me, despite despite what I symbolized. Symbolism has a lot to do with what goes on here amongst us, what I symbolized. Not what I was, but what I symbolized. And you dealt with it. But I will tell you this, America, that because of situations and circumstances far beyond our control, Black lives not only matter, but they matter so much we don't know. If we're talking about equality and fairness and decency and life under God, we're talking about a situation here where failure and an absolute need for reparations, for what word here? I'm showing my 70 years. Repentance, remorse, more than ever. Marvin Gaye, what's going on? Mercy, mercy me. More than ever, we need to fixate on those ideas. You guys always took care of me. You knew I was ill. You let up a little bit. You saw the distress I was in. Little things, or not so little things like that. It's what I go to bed with every night. I'm hyperactive. I've been hyperactive since I was a child. I'm hyperpensive. This is what I think of when I try to sleep at night. Things that soothe me, like you, and the others in that very, very select group of Douglas students, 85 through 88. That was it. Who would have thought back then that I would have come to think of you this way now? Decades later, the influence that you guys had on me. You guys had on me, you know. I believed in the United States. Even back then, you know, John Lennon imagined no nation, no country. That was my dream, but if we had to have a country, it better be a good one. It better be one that I could be proud of. You made me proud of my country. You made me proud of my country. Before I go, before I get my boarding pass, we have to dramatically change the paradigm, shift the paradigm. Because if God came down to see us now and stood right here, He would not look happy, or she, or whoever it is. There'd be dissatisfaction all over that person, that being's face.
But what you brought was so different. You captivated our attention, and we just went along with it because you opened a lot of eyes and you brought something to education that was different from any experience I ever had. And that has done wonders for me, where I am today. And I'm just so glad that I had the opportunity to be in your class. That made an impact of the lives of 35 people from the west side of Chicago. And don't forget what the influence that you have. It runs deep. We all feel it. Made us the people that we are today. And I really appreciate that.
I grew tired of being white decades ago. I grew tired of it. Now, you could say, well, he lives in Evanston, he's got a nice condo, got a wife. I'm tired of the burden, guilt. I've had it all my life. All my life. And from what did it stem? It stemmed from two people. The woman who took care of me after my mother got sick, after my sister was born, she lived with us for 6 months. She was of color, and I was 7 years old. And I saw enough. And then later, one of my dad's painting contractors, who took me under his wing as like his son when I was a little boy, because I'd stay at my dad's store helping during the day. He would take me around Andersonville, where my dad's store was, hand in hand, unbelievable. And we would have a Coca-Cola at Hazel's bungalow, because I knew from an early age, instinctively, intellectually, observationally, that the most precious resource in this country through the decades and the centuries, you are, because of the way things have worked out, you are rare china. This is from another one of our books, I think a Ray Bradbury book. You are rare china in a display case that is wobbly. And we have to protect you at all costs. That's how I felt then, and 50 times more today.
That was amazing. How could anyone watch this entire documentary without shedding a tear? I've cried several times, and coming after that type of personal testimony of Mr. Tom Kling, it's very profound. I don't know. But I'm happy. I'm in a good place because I did something that I always dreamed of doing, and being lucky, blessed to be successful after going through school and going to college, creating businesses and many different platforms. I always wanted to go back. I always wanted to go back and thank the people who made a difference in my life. And one of the people who always spoke, who stood out in my life, was Mr. Tom Kling. And today I made this happen, and which is a great day. And I know that him and Makita, they did talk about what could you do to better the Chicago public school system. And I think that what you can do is just go to the wealthiest community in the country that has public schools, take their models, match the resources, match the funding, and then apply those same models, the funding and the resources and the teachers and the environment to learn into poor communities where there's people of color. And that's how you begin to make a change. One other thing too that I would like to add is that we have to really, really pay special attention to our teachers. And if you have a teacher and your teacher made a difference in your life, I don't care if it was the 3rd grade, I don't care if it was high school, college, or elementary school, but just give them a call, look them up, and just tell them thanks. And just tell them how much you appreciated them for making a difference in your life, because you really never know what people are going through. And having someone call that you made a difference, and just suggesting that your life probably wouldn't have been the same without them, it makes a huge difference, and just is better for the humanity. So I just think teachers are underpaid, they're underappreciated, they get all the blame, never really get the praise. And so I don't know why our society is like that, but we can change it, and just showing them that we care and just giving them the funding, because they're doing a lot of tough jobs, and they're doing a lot of jobs that parents have to do. As a parent, we send our children to school, and they're with these teachers, just as much as the parent is with them. Some children are in school longer than what they actually see their parents. So I just think we just need to give praise. We need to give praise to the teachers and just treat our teachers better. But that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. This was brought to you by Legacy Media. And we have lots of true stories that we're going to be documenting and bringing to you. And so stay tuned. Thank you.
That I remember so many of you filling, and it gives me comfort as I fall to sleep to know that I had a chance for 3 years to mingle with not only creative people, but kind ones who as much as possible looked out for me.
He never spoke with such enthusiasm about any teacher until he ran into you. You made a difference in his life, and I want to thank you very much for that.
A lot of y'all know my story. I've been through the fire. This man been there to put that fire out for me many times. I could say a whole lot, but I got one special for you. I love you, man. Thanks.
Because you made me feel important and valuable and smart, and you appreciated my efforts. And I could never thank you enough. Never thank you enough. So what I'm saying is this. 2 years from now, in September of 23, I want to redo this while I still have some youth left, some vigor. I want to come back because I miss a lot of you. I really miss a lot of you, you know? So September of 23, I'm going to put it down on my little calendar, and I want you to think that you'll make yourselves available, please, for it as my way of showing you. You know that when I looked at our roster picture on the tape yesterday, I was able to name, how can I do this? I was able to name every person in that photo. I had to keep playing it because I couldn't stop it. It'd show for 5 seconds. And I knew you all. I knew you all like I would know my own family. Thank you for everything you've done for me.
And I feel blessed that I was one of those. You shared relationships stuff with us, and we're in 8th grade. And the stuff that you were going through, I was like, wow, dude, and he's still coming here? His wife, she's upset the fact that he's spending so much gas, and he would tell us how he would come up 90 to get on 290 to do all of this. And I was just like, and he's still coming for us. Right. Just a group of black kids from the west side of Chicago. And now you have a group of black kids from the west side of Chicago.
One of my goals was always to move to Evanston. And I bought a house in Evanston today. And I'll be moving next month. And that is inspired by you. And I just wanted to say thank you. I love you. I really appreciate you and everything you've done for me. One last thing, I told my mom that I was coming here, and this is her message to you. Tell Mr. Klain, thank you, thank you, thank you. We couldn't have done it without him. Appreciate you.
What made me get that far? What pushed me to be something more than a statistic? And every time I ended with Tom Klain. And I just want to thank you for that.
Because like if you have a teacher like this, you are so blessed. It's so important to have people in your life that set that stamp to give you that positive, motivation for you to go on and let you know that you are important and that it matters. So for a teacher to take that time out every day, I even remember days where I had to stay after class with you to do math, okay, just to keep my grades up. But my math grade got so good that when I went to high school, my uncle's friend was so surprised. He had me grading. He's a teacher. And he had me grading college students' papers for him in the evening time in summer. So when I was in high school, so yeah.
Was accepted in the lottery. We all got accepted. Taft, Von Steuben, Lane Tech. So I thank you because, you've touched us in so many ways that, I was a problem child. I don't know if you remember that, but I was, but we appreciate you,
Got you. We got you. And we keep you. We will forever keep you.
I cried. I sweat out my suit, and that was unusual, but this is amazing. I hear the stories, and everybody is successful. Coming from your experience, you are a very special human being.
After 8th grade, I hit a few bumps in the road, but you were always in my thoughts. You were always in my heart. All of you were, because we always kept each other on Facebook and, and like I said, I just want to really say thank you. Everything was great. If I can turn back the hands of time, I can say 7th and 8th grade was the best time of my life.
I'm always so emotional because my brother is my biggest hero. And I think you encourage him in so many ways. With him, the sky is unlimited. There's nothing that he cannot do. If he mentioned it, it's already done, completed. And thank you. I just thank you.
It's been an honor to my life. Yes. And I wound up contracting to a lot of federal employees. I was a federal contractor for the NSA, CIA, and FBI. So thank you.
Math skills and the math skills that you gave us, we were both programmers at the same time during the early 2000s. And then Israel continued to be a developer and working for the CIA, cybersecurity. Going really knee deep into lots of data because of the math. Give you these cards.
Thank you.
Cards from us. We all signed them for you. Something to take home.
I can't tell you how flattered.
Try to hold us down, but we ain't go. Government want us out, but we can't fold. They beat you, mistreat you, no equal. It's to the people, of the people, for the people. It's they try to hold us down, but we ain't go. Government want us out, but we can't fold. They beat beat you, mistreat you, no equal. It's to the people, of the people, for the people.
Let's talk about how we the targeted race, yeah, I'ma say what they don't say enough. Let's talk about how they want money for police, but where I'm from, police ain't saving us. Yeah, they try to beat us, they try to mislead us, yeah, I'ma say what they don't say enough. No matter the issue, they know we gon' get through, cause where I'm from, it ain't no taming us. We ain't got no jobs depending on welfare, so they calling us leeches. They shutting down schools, want us to be fools, guess they trying to not pay the teachers. Surrounded by lions and tigers and bears, no wonder I turned to a demon. And lately been feeling like money bag, yo, why? Cause I'm a big speaker. And it still ain't no justice for Kanika. They ain't solving murders, how they for the people. They shoot at black people like we ain't real people. They claim that we free and they say that we equal. Yeah, they try to put us through all of this shit and they told us that we could just walk it out. No matter the issue, they know we gon' get through, yeah, I'ma say what they don't talk about. Let's talk about how we the targeted race, yeah, I'ma say what they don't say enough. Let's talk about how they want money for police, but where I'm from, police ain't saving us. Yeah, they try to beat us, they try to mislead us, yeah, I'ma say what they don't say enough. No matter the issue, they know we gon' get through, cause where I'm from, it ain't no taming us.
They try to hold us down, but we ain't go. Government want us out, but we can't fold. They beat you, mistreat you, no equal. It's to the people, of the people, for the people. It's